Thank you guys for tuning in for this episode. We are actually working with Yogi. Yogi, we have worked through a lot of animal reactivity while he's on walks. And now that we have that in heavy control, we decided to hone in on a lot of his obedience skills. So Yogi does not do anything without a reward, so he has to be bribed. And then on top of that, he also breaks command extremely easily. He has no implied stay to his commands. So we are working on engagement. We are also working on duration of the command, so we utilize negative reinforcement as well. Since he does know the commands, we want to, as you can see right here, upward leash pressure, and then downward pressure on the rear, and then treat, positive reinforcement afterwards. So as we're utilizing this, you'll notice that it takes a while at first for him to really want to do the things due to the negative reinforcement, the pressure. But we ended up using enough pressure to where he wanted to avoid it, and then he started to understand leash pressure. And as you can see, he will sit down with just the pressure alone. And this is great. And so every time he stands up, I'm putting more pressure on because it's an implied stay. So as a trainer, one big thing that I am paying attention to is the associations that the dogs I'm working with are making. I want him to associate that the upwards pressure means he has to do what I said. Regardless on the command, he has to do what I said. And what I do notice during the session is that he started to associate, instead of an implied stay, that he's just not allowed to listen to anything else. He has to stay there. So towards the mid-end of the session, you'll see me start having to put more pressure on to get him to leave a sit to come to me. And then we just started to backtrack a little bit, take a step backwards, and start working on the recall and breaking the command again, so that way we can readdress it so we don't end up with a large issue in the future. When it comes to utilizing any types of pressure, as well as rewards, timing is going to be everything to allow the dog to create the proper association. So when we're using a reinforcement marker like a treat, for instance, you're only going to have a couple second window to mark that behavior and reward. I always like to utilize either a clicker or a yes or something like that. Just that way I have a good marker or a point in time that I can capture, letting them know that's exactly what I was looking for. With the pressure release on negative reinforcement, the moment his butt touches the ground, pressure releases. The moment he starts to get up and break command, pressure comes immediately on at that very moment. And then, see, right there. And then right when his butt hits the ground, pressure gone again. It has to be immediate so that way he understands exactly what I want from him. Due to Yogi getting overstimulated so easily, working in the small fenced-in space where he can't see anything from the world around him, really helps us focus on this training. And once he gets this down, like really down, then we can work on his confidence with the commands and his snappiness of it, right? And then from there, we'll start taking him out into more stressful environments, so that way we can start working on these commands while there's other stimulation all around him going on. So, as you can see, his implied stays are getting much, much better. He's starting to understand leash pressure extremely well. And here's what I was talking about, where he doesn't want to come to me because we have used enough negative reinforcement to where he's just, I'm staying here, dude. That's not what I wanted. I don't want him to be in that mindset, right? So I utilize negative reinforcement at that point to get him to me And then soon you'll see we start running around, playing a little bit more, making it fun again. What I did find really interesting is, if you look here, the moment I stop, he goes straight into a sit when I asked him to sit, instead of any pressure at all. When he's hyped up like that, he's like, I'm ready, I'm listening, and then bam, asked him to sit, and he immediately sits, no pressure needed. So it's one of those where I need him to imply the sit, but I think I'm going to be utilizing that play with him a lot more and capturing that behavior as we do play. So thank you for watching, and I hope this was a little bit helpful.